some of the most controversial aspects or even just commonly asked questions of resistance training?
I think obviously we've referenced training and exercise, I think very generally for a long time. Like this is episode 17, I think it is.
Are we on 17? We should put the episode number, I feel like.
It's on the yeah, maybe I'll start putting that in the title. It's in the like the thumbnail that I put up is what it ends up showing. Yeah, episode 17.
Gotcha.
So we've definitely made a ton of reference to training, cardio, weightlifting, resistance training. There's a whole bunch of different names for like more specific versions of exercise. And today I think one that's really, really prevalent amongst the crypto community, our community, is weightlifting or resistance training. So resistance training definitely being the more broad category. And yeah, just really want to talk about it in general. I think just like address it from a like first principles kind of standpoint, like what it is, like why it's useful, what it does, what it can be useful for, like those kinds of really, really just fundamental questions. And then maybe get into a little more detail about programming. It seems like there's a million programs you can buy online nowadays, and people end up just like buying program after program after program, and maybe that's helping them, maybe it's not.
Well, where do you want to start with? We can do programming first. We can do rep ranges. We can do the kind of resistance training. Because I'll say with the demographic I work with, I've seen so much insane data, like data sets from females. This is mostly females 40 to 65, like I've typically said in this channel, where even just walking and getting their steps in, I've seen so many case studies where they're losing on their measurements, improving their strength and stamina, but the weigh-ins are at a slower pace that would like actually make sense, right? So they'd be down in 2 weeks, maybe half a pound on their average, which isn't a whole lot, but they'd be down 1.5 inches on their waist, which doesn't correlate, right? From like a pacing perspective. It's even surprising for me. I'll word it like that, coming from a bodybuilding background to see how effective that actually could be. Because I think people have the wrong idea. They think, oh, you're not breaking down muscle tissue unless you're doing like these heavy sets and lifts in the gym or at home. And I just find that typically to not be the case. Of course, trying to be a professional bodybuilder, yeah, lifting could be obviously the best tool there, but yeah, that's a whole other discussion, but it's just been really interesting to see that correlation there.
So I had 46 female subjects, all between the ages of 18 and 35. They were all recruited basically from a university campus. They were all new to weightlifting, or they had not, or resistance training, lifting weights, or they had not done it in, I think our washout period was two years. So if you hadn't trained in 2 years, you were allowed into the study. And then you had to be active less than 3 days per week. So of 46 females, they got filtered into 4 different groups at random, right? So we can really look at the data of this once per week group versus the traditional. So traditional being what the American College of Sports Medicine recommends. So if your doctor is just kind of like rattling off prescriptions that they know, they'll rattle off some data from, or some recommendations from ACSM. So they came in 3 times per week. They started at 50% of their 1RM, and they did 3 sets of 10. This is kind of like the age-old, like what resistance training is. Like people go in the gym and they do 3 sets of 10. My 2 or 3 tenets for resistance training: keep it simple. Like that's my number one reminder. Do resistance training that works for you, that you like, that you want to do, that you can do. So I don't care what it is really. Find a schedule. Once per week even is fine. That works for you and you can adhere to for a long time. And then when you are going through that training, make it difficult. It should be fairly intense. Now, it doesn't have to be the hardest thing in your life, right? But it should be on a scale of 8 of 10. It should be around 7 out of 10 hard most of the time. If you're having a bad week, you feel like shit, you can either take a week off, or you can train a little lighter in the gym, right? Your relative intensity, how hard it feels in the gym, is a really, really good subjective proxy for this. If it's difficult for you in the gym, if you're struggling towards the end of the set, if your last rep feels harder than the first rep, that's a really, really good indication. That's as simple as it can start. Like we've kind of alluded to, there is, like, if you want to talk about specific outcomes and specific training programs, there are a million and one rabbit holes that we can go down and a million and one things that apply here. So I think that is going to definitely be an episode for another time. Maybe programming or like setting goals, whether it be strength, power, aerobic, anaerobic, like just maybe daily living types of things. There you can optimize, but in general, the differences that we see are like very, very minimal. So really, when it comes to trying to get really, really specific and really, really particular about a program, it's most beneficial for like the less than 1%. Like I'm talking professional athletes. Like now, if I've got a professional athlete, I want to put them on a specific program to target a extremely specific outcome. Whereas if you're just trying to live better, like, yeah, go lift. You will live better. Or resistance train of any kind. Incorporate activity of any kind. If you do that consistently, you will live better.
There might also be the perception that holding maxi over the fork is better than holding hex over the fork in terms of how much it will retain value. Because
I would have argued. I would have argued it wouldn't have mattered. But hey, we've just seen over the past couple of weeks where prices moved down on hex and maxi hasn't. So maybe there's something in that.
Yeah, and then the maxi premium doesn't look like it's too volatile, whereas hex price is a bit more volatile. And so what happens after the fork? Do people dump their Ethereum hex? Maybe they won't be as inclined to dump their maxi Ethereum maxi. I mean, it's all conjecture, and who knows?
Yeah, but this comes down to what I was saying. There's a smaller pool of people that own maxi, and if it just so happens that pool of people that went into maxi have overall a different mindset in terms of holding, as in they're not looking for that quick exit. There's the reality is there might not be enough of it on the market to satisfy the demand.
Yeah, and obviously not as much liquidity. Like you could dump $1 million $1 million worth of hex and not move the price too much, it seems. Hey,
does Jexa, do you want to give us a rundown of what is going on with this new Ethereum fork and all this massive airdrop that's about to happen?
Yeah, so if there are people here listening for the first time or are new to the whole PulseChain side of things, as Day 43 alluded to, gas got a little bit out of control on the Ethereum network and has broken many, many projects. So to protect hex users, Richard Hart decided to launch his own chain called PulseChain. And that was going to be not custom built, but was going to make sure that the hex code was able to run in an environment that was more suitable for what it needed. Now, he could have just created a blank blockchain, fired up hex on that blockchain, and all the happy hexagons would have come across and happy days would have been on our own chain. But there was I guess a lot bigger opportunity there where we could actually take everything that exists on the Ethereum network, including hex, and port that across to this new chain. And many said, myself included, this is impossible. He's a lunatic. Why would he even try?
Before you go on with that, when you say take everything off Ethereum, what are we talking about here? Are we talking about like Chainlink? Like, are they going to get a copy of something on Ethereum? Are we talking Shiba Inu? Are they
everything's got to come across. So whether
every
the communities,
ERC20,
every ERC20, so every smart contract that's ever been launched on Ethereum will come across onto PulseChain. It's like having a Word document and you take a copy of it. Everything that was written in that Word document comes across into the new document. From that point on, once it's been copied, then you can make changes in each and they'll be their own different versions. But at that one point in time when you do the copy, everything comes across. So if you hold ERC20 tokens on the Ethereum network, you'll get a duplication on the PulseChain network. But it goes a lot deeper than that, really, because the way DeFi has evolved now, we've got all these staking protocols and locked value in different protocols, and all that's coming across as well. So it's not just liquid balances. Now, like I was saying, this is pretty audacious thing to do, really. And I honestly didn't think, when Richard started talking about it, I said, there's no way he's going to do it. Everything's just going to break. It's going to be a disaster. It's not possible.
Will the T-share rate be the same on Pulse, or will the T-share rate be cheaper? And will T-share rate at fork be the same on Pulse? So I can tell you at the time of the fork, the T-share rate will be exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly the same. But from that point on, each chain will do their own thing. So we're expecting, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but we're expecting that on the Pulse side, that the T-share rate or the share rate is going to ratchet up slightly more quickly than on Ethereum, because there's going to be more stakes, more things happening, but only to a I believe it's going to be a minute, like maybe not even.
Yeah, we've got a lot of rolling stakes going on in Hex on ETH though.
Although both of those have come down since Hedron and Maxi launched.
Yeah,
a lot of those small rolling stakes have diminished because of those.
I'm still a big believer that a lot of those rolling stakes were the result of people being in a holding pattern. So because it's been 9 or 10 months, nearly 12, I think, lost track of time, where we thought PulseChain was going to be 2 months away. So rather than do long stakes, people thought, okay, I'm just going to do a short one, collect interest, and then when both the chains evolve, I'll take this action on one side and this action on the other side. So you've got more flexibility. So I think a lot of people just started cycling stakes in a holding pattern. So you might see that behavior changes a lot now. Or people they might use one chain for the longer stakes and one chain for shorter rotating stakes. So assuming this was all happening in this one candle here, we pushed down 33%,
isn't it?
Yeah, and then obviously they got dragged straight back up 20%.
Yeah,
but hasn't quite fully recovered. I think we're teetering on an important point anyway. So that trend line there was sort of coming up to meet it, and it would have been nice to hold above that. So obviously either someone needed some cash in a hurry, or they're trying to actively keep us below that price. I'm not sure. Who knows?
Well, maybe it's just people. It could be people just trying to play the announcement of Pulse pump, that they think there's a pump coming. Then when they realize that it's not, then they just like go, they dump it out of it.
Yeah, possibly.
Who knows? Eh?
Sometime, and this is what I think's happened today, and I don't want to get into too much of the goings on, but people draw conclusions when it could just be someone, I don't know, they had a life event, they wanted to sell their bag, or who knows. I've seen candles painted and I've known the story behind the candles, and they're not what people expect or think. Everyone tries to put a narrative around something. Sometimes people just sell because they're in the middle of doing something or got something going on.
Someone has a hissy fit on Twitter, the price goes down, and everyone assumes that it's that person.
Yeah, that's right.
And this is something that's really good, is that as more and more people start streaming within the community, people can actually choose the streamers that suit what they want to hear and their stuff. It'll be like the broader crypto space where there's so many to choose from. You actually get to choose. Whereas in the early days, there was no choice. If you wanted to watch, content, and there were only a limited number of Hex streamers to choose from, and if none of them really, if none of those people resonated with you, then you either just weren't consuming content about Hex, or you had to sit through watching someone that might be, I've had people, rarely, but I've had people say, make comments that watching my streams is like torture, and they couldn't do it for more than like a minute. So but then obviously I've had many, many, many more comments that have been the complete opposite of that have really said that people really enjoy my shit. So it's good. It's good. The more streamers there are, the more chance that you're going to have content that people enjoy.
What I actually like is people are bringing their own interests into the space, like Jim Rat and Sam, where they're bringing that fitness element in, so they bring the fitness crowd with them, or they attract that part of the community that's into fitness as well. So everyone sort of finds a little.
Shit, yeah.
Jim Rat's been going hard, hey? Jim Rat's been going real hard, like streaming every day.
Richard Hart says, PulseChain status, auditing, finding things that need fixed and putting them on order to see which can happen after mainnet and which would happen before. Next 2 days, I hope to have better time frames. Bits, mostly validator registration, rotation, fees, and limits. Mind you, though, he doesn't know. He is not doing the ordering. He's not doing anything at all. He's just waiting on the developers to do that. And it's all, I don't know, get ready for 4 more weeks. At this point, get ready for 4 more weeks.
Does this list make you think that it's 4 more weeks for sure? Das Bomb?
No, looks like no, because
Downer Bomb.
Not everything has to be done right now, as he says himself. But if they find something, you can always find something. I would just not expect anything at all. I mean, as I said, I only believe it when I get the RPC settings. Everything before that is just like meh. This is the original reply to the YouTube link, and then it's Richard Hart. It's actually his account.
Yeah.
And then we got this uncommented photo.
I love it. So comments are not allowed, or there's no comments?
No, there's just no comment. He just posted the photo, nothing else.
No, I mean comments to it though. There's some comments.
Yeah,
below.
You should know, Papa B, that this doesn't need a comment.
It does not. No, it does not.
I don't know. Hashtag no comment, I guess.
Yep.
I'm still thinking you're gonna be catfished.
I don't get his comment. You always smile with your teeth, so you can intimidate people.
It's meme time.
He sells an indicator on his website for $800 called the TD indicator. He sells an indicator called TD because it was invented by a guy named Tom DeMark. He doesn't pay Tom DeMark.
I'm not. It's I mean, what go if you and this
that was a great discussion, guys. Tom Days and Richard Hart, thanks a lot for being with us. Thank you guys for watching, and put your comments below deciding who won today's crypto duel.
Nice.
It was really like hard to watch, even the whole thing, because he demolished him so hard. He didn't know anything on how to counter, and he was not used to debating at all.
So the whole purpose of USDC being the main pair that Hex is tied to is to ensure that it doesn't suffer the same fate as the rest of the Promise Coin space by being tied down to Ethereum and Bitcoin. So what does that mean? Well, what that means is that the only reason people are ever going to sell their Hex in a liquid fashion, right? Like they can't sell $5 million worth of Hex into ETH. They have to sell it into USDC. But what that means is if people get out in size, right? Like the preponderance of the exits have to be in the biggest liquidity pool, because that's where you're going to find the best rate of exchange.
If you want ETH, like sell 5 million Hex for ETH, the V3 router will go through the USDC pair, then through the USDC pair.
Yeah, but it's just not the same. It's not the same. It doesn't hit the market the same because it has to run through the different points in the plumbing. That matters. I'm talking about a literal one-for-one swap, a direct swap, without having to run through plumbing, because that makes the transaction more expensive and more things have to happen in the background. So that matters. And this is why Hex doesn't dump like everything else. This is the reason why RH or the OA or whoever did that liquidity swap back in the day from ETH to USDC, because that's how you ensure that it doesn't trade with the rest of the market. Because what happens is that the ocean or the motion in the ocean is going to drive the price fluctuations of Hex in line with what we're seeing everywhere else. So when you like remove that bondage, you're not going to have the same kinds of motion in the ocean. And you see that in the data when you look at whether Hex is correlated to the rest of the market or not, and it's not. It'll have some interim positive correlations, but that's natural.
So there is basically 2 articles. They all, so this one is by Lara Silva on Portugal.com, and the other one is on, so this is translated to English. It's on Sapo. This original article is in Portuguese. And basically, those 2 guys, Antonio Mendes, I'm going to butcher the names, and Fernando Medina on the right. Basically, they talked a little about what they wanted to do in the future. Like, yeah, we want to properly tax everybody. Right now, we don't know what it is. We do want to have a proper framework, yada, 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 all the like politically correct answers to that, because they were actually asked that question. It's not that that was part of the agenda. It's not that they wanted to talk about this. It's not that it was planned or something they want to do in the foreseeable future. They just gave an answer. This is a German lawyer, SK official. Sven Kampchen, it's one of the bigger crypto lawyers, well known. He's completely booked out, doesn't have spaces. He wrote a book about Bitcoin. Like he's way up there.
So everybody that got really hurt by all the drama and all this stuff and got involved and forgot that you hold Hex with the code that it has and it's immutable, you're a bunch of pussies.
Everybody, 3-day events, speakers, exhibitors, PulseCon. There is explosions, there is fireworks, there is party, there is drinks, there is everything you ever dreamed of. Come, be there in spirit, watch
free
it.
Coffee.
Yeah, it's free coffee. Represent, tell your kids, tell your mom, tell everybody you know, PulseCon 2022. Get subscribed, like and share, I don't know, whatever you do.
Hit the bell.
These days, kids. Yeah, hit the bell, hit the like,
Send
get the
an
ticket,
email.
drive there, send an email. Yeah, everything. Look, Richard Hart, Smidge Lowe, George Wentz, Foster Gamble is gonna be having some kind of talks, I guess. The site is so beautifully made. Look at those animations.
Lots of shit coins too. Yeah.
Oh, but it's still so far away. 109 days. So we're back on price action. This is just a commentary on.
It's going crazy.
Yeah. This is what price looks right now.
Yeah.
I'm actually a little bit surprised that Richard Hart should know this. He's been he's been in the scene enough that he should know about promoters and people running around, finding the beautiful girls, getting them into the right clubs,
models.
into the more expensive and I'm not sure how he is addressing this level 7, 8, and 9s and 10s, because he's always talking about where are all the 9s and 10s. But from my personal opinion and knowledge, it's like there are no 9s and 10s out there in the world that are just existing. Like you get a 7 and then you dress her up to 7, 8, 9. Yeah.
The difference between 7, 8, and 9, 10, it's just in character, because on beauty you can max out. Like
I'm not even talking about character or anything else. Just the looks, like completely plain. I think it's just makeup and whatever you do with your hair, straighten it, making it deluxe. I don't know. You put on a nice dress that is immediately a different thing that you see. Like it's different visuals that you get. What the hell?
Do you think 9s and 10s are?
That's like Airwolf on the right.
Getting in a freaking Lamborghini. BitBoy has a Lamborghini. How many BitBoys do they? How many DMs do they receive from BitBoys? Like Jesus Christ, it's another level. Okay, I'm disappointed. That's all I want to say. Like, this is some nice.
It was nice, yeah.
This is nice. Yeah. Like
go back, record. Hexy Quinn. Not true. Absolutely not true.
No.
Men are not naturally more beautiful.
Some men, maybe.
Absolutely not.
And I think for women, it's a lot harder to maintain that body and that figure. Like you have to do
fitness. You can't eat what you want. I think that's I don't know.
So yeah, get the nice relentless and yeah.
Give out titles for people that set up all the interviews, because there are a lot of hexicans that do all these things in the background where they connect like the Playboy girls. They connect people in the background and just like DMing and hey, here you go. And they are the unsung heroes of the Hexican nation, the floaty nation in the nether, in the ether. Yeah. So props to you, boys and girls. Good job. Good job bringing all the content to Richard.
What is this?
So, what do you want to see? Or what did you want? I can just
Head and
remove
shoulder.
So.
Just
No,
one
yeah.
shoulder.
My thing here is I see like 7-ish touch points with that 10 cents.
Yeah.
Floor. It's some very old resistance from June 21.
Is
And
this
we're
Bitcoin
bang.
2017?
This one?
This Bitcoin.
Are we talking about this?
18th of June 21. We hit. Yeah, we kind of hit this as a top. It must be this. Yes.
That's
Not
10
quite
cents,
actually.
yeah.
That's or is it?
This one is 7
yeah, it's
cents.
10. Old resistance becomes support, and now we touched that 7 times. So, and you know the thing is, when you knock on a thing too many times, it might eventually break through, and that is the worry here, or not. And the future is green from here.
That's what happened to Bitcoin in 2017. There was
18. Yeah.
Wait.
17,
18, yeah.
cents. It's 85% drop.
Which one is it? We want to go into like
yeah, you see, he eventually broke through, but then again,
and then you have the waterfall because
this was a black swan event back then here when it crashed through.
No, everybody knew this was coming. Like bounce, no more bounce, and then trapdoor.
No.
That's
This was
capitulation.
the Bcash BSV fork, and they had to take away hash rate from the Bitcoin chain to support the Bcash. Otherwise, Craig Wright would have messed up everything. And this was happening here. And when they take away hash rate, then the price just drops. And so, but that's the special situation.
But you cannot trade hash rate.
And we don't have this right now. So
you're not trading hash rate. It's like the sentiment of the market, the fear, the news, whatever came out in that time. Everything is usually already pre-baked in the price for months. Everybody knew what was going to happen. It doesn't quite look the same because you don't have that floor. You have the double touches here. The more W's you have, the better it is usually. But if you go on short-term TA and go on, I don't know, market cycles instead of thinking of what is going to happen in 2, 3, 4 years, if you just think, oh my God, the next month, and I want to gamble my position away, I want to get left behind, in my personal opinion, you got an inverted, cup and handle is. I want to say es ist ein Tal, zwei Täler. Okay, whatever. Let's call it cup and handle, whatever.
2 saucers.
And
cup and handle is the other way around.
The range on that one, if you go from a measured move, it's down at 5 cents. So this is like the green quickly squiggly line. This is the bearish formation, and then the bullish is still the trade that I said like a week or so ago, almost a month ago. That one is still in play. If the lower part is broken, then you're stopped out at the bottom of the wedge, and then it's in free fall, I guess. You got the giant pump. Oh my god! Sell now, and then it got under my stop loss. What does price do? Oh, it's moving up. Oh my god! You didn't get back in. You bought in back here higher. You lost. Instead of 10 million hex, you only have 5 million hex left at this point. Like the price just left your ass. Or even actually it's even more. It's like, let's say, how much is that? Just like oh my god, that's 1000% 10x. Yeah, instead of 10 million, you have only 1 million hex left because the price left you. Okay, you go bye. Then you have the same formation here. Look at that. It's like bounce, bounce, bounce. Here at this point, if you don't see anything else, you're gonna think, oh my god, it's over. Oh no, Hex is over. We're done, boys. We're done. Can't invest in it anymore.
Guess I'll go mercy and my stakes now. Be right back.
The best thing you could do at this point, like and emergency end stake all your stakes, sell everything. You will buy in when it's back down here because this was too massive of a run up. And then what does price do? You're back at and this was actually big payday. So this was the big run up to 1.3 cents. Yeah. And on non-lock, it looks even more ridiculous. Like imagine you at this point in time, you're like, oh shit, I missed the move. It's the same thing that happened like here. Oh my god, I missed it. Oh my god. I'm buying back in. And then you're at the top, you buy back in. What's happening next? There is a new dump. You buy high, you sell low. That's the strategy so far.
You know what? You know what sucks about this entire thing, Dust Bomb? I took every one of those trades, and now I have 2 hex.
Quite the problem, sir.
I gotta come back, and now I'm all staked. My 2 hex are going to become 4 hex in about 4 years.
Oh my god, what a problem! How are you gonna make it, man? Are you gonna survive that dilemma?
I'm confident now. I learned not to play the game and stake.
It's a dilemma, sir.
Try the organs. No, maybe not.
My kidneys are no good at HP.
No bueno.
Oh man.
The ecosystem that we want to attach to NFT on Pulse, and then some future dApps that we have in the roadmap as well, is a staking protocol, which will allow you to stake our Eno token, which will be the ecosystem token. And currently NFT on Pulse will be the first dApp, but it won't be the only dApp. But 100% of those fees are going to go into that pool. And we're going to share that with whoever's staking into that pool. They're going to get those fees, not us. I mean, we're going to get some, obviously, right? We got to make some money, but we want to share all that with the community.
What's the timeline on that, J Money? Is that like?
Well, we're going to probably launch a sacrifice right after PulseChain launches.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're probably a couple months down the road from now, I'm thinking. So it just depends on when PulseChain launches. But of course, if you ask my devs, they'd probably tell you a different number. So
Yeah, for sure.
Just like with what Richard says, you could think you're going to have something done next week and then you find some bugs or whatever, right? But yeah, we're probably a couple months away from launching that protocol, if I had to guess.
What's like one question you get all the time that you guys answer a lot?
Oh man, what's the best ERC20 to hold for the fork? That's probably the one that sticks out in my mind the most at the moment. I'd say over the last 3 or 4 months, that narrative has changed 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
The first sentiment was, hey, buy Hex. It's what we're all here for. You get your free copy and you can swap that. It's going to have liquidity. It's going to be there. It's going to work. You're already going to know that Hex is going to be on PulseChain. You'll be able to swap that for some Pulse. Because, some people didn't get Pulse, but they got Pulse X for sacrifice, right? So there's a lot of game theory and how do I get what I want when I don't have what I want? And to use Hex for that, we quickly realized that it's probably not the best move, right? To buy up a bunch of Hex, get some copies, and then dump it on everybody's heads. So that narrative quickly changed to, go find another ERC20 that has liquidity and maybe some lower volume that is going to have, some trading pairs with ETH on the other side and that sort of stuff. And then just recently, Walrus came out with the idea that, and maybe he didn't come up with the idea, but he voiced it out there with cryptographics on that stream. And it's the idea of holding stable, actually, through the fork, right? Because the first narrative about stables were, they're probably going to get invalidated, or they're only going to be worth 5 cents or 10 cents. You're not going to get any value or whatever. But as we start kind of understanding how this thing works, anything that's paired with Ethereum that gets copied is going to have a ratio of some sort on the other side. Now, whether you value that USDC at $1 or not is really irrelevant, right? Because nothing has a dollar value on day one. So you are only trading on ratios. So if there's a pool with USDC and say Pulse, because there will be, there's a chance that if it's not invalidated, immediately, that pool will be available. You could actually swap it for Pulse, and you've gotten rid of that copy, right? So it may be actually the safest play out of all of them to hold that stable, because the second reason for that is with the bear market happening right now and you're holding ERC20s, you're actually losing that value of what you want to bridge over as well. So if somebody's holding a stable, you're holding all your value, your capital that you can bridge over, and you potentially have a token that you can swap on day one on a ratio before Circle has a chance to do anything with it. None of those, I don't know what's going to happen, or Circle could invalidate those before the fork even happens, or the second it happens, or, who knows?
Yeah.
This has never happened before. All of it's a speculation and all of it's a gamble. Every bit of it.
So we talked about it earlier, and I just wanted to again say, man, thanks for doing all the work on this. And PulseChain news and education. I mean, to me, and I think BHEX talked about earlier, it's really a lot of education on this site. Like, if you want to educate somebody on PulseChain Hex, PulseX, this is probably the place to send them. How do you guys come up with all the information, man? I mean, is there just some of you coming up with stuff like, hey, let's add this, or is it like a group thing? I mean, there's a ton of info on here.
Back in October when we first built the site, right, these guys came up with the layout, and of course it changed a couple times early on of how we wanted it laid out, and we saw some flows that we didn't like or whatever, but we kind of came up with the layout and tweaked that, and it was a full-blown, everybody hands on deck, let's list out all of the questions that people ask in our Jira folder, and we just created projects, and everybody started picking what they what they wanted to write about, or what type of information they wanted to provide, or what they maybe knew about. We do have one of our guys is a SEO expert, so he was driving a lot of the titles for us so that we can get that click on Google. I think honestly that's probably where most of our traffic would come from. I don't have all those numbers in front of me. I probably should at this point. But I know the SEO has everything to do with how many hits we get on this channel. We've got over 500,000 visitors. Wow. I think 125,000 unique IP addresses.
Wow.
And that's just since October. But yeah, we all just kind of pitched in and got that initial, information out, and then, just slowly trickled in more and more over time over, the next several months. We got other community members to contribute. I think Crypto Goose wrote a nice article on Hex and the T-shares and how all that works. So if you know anybody that needs to understand what T-shares are, and then right down to how the calculation for T-shares ratcheting up, the Hex price, the T-share price and Hex terms ratcheting up, right? Like he's got that, all that math is in there. Orca did a nice thing on Hex that's in there, Hex University. So yeah, we just got different community members that wanted to contribute, and so we just kind of slowly building and continuing the path at this point.
Even with the Twitter storms, can you talk a little bit more about that, like how that idea came to be and what the goal was?
One of our guys, LJ, I can't remember exactly how it went down, but I know that a lot of people would talk about just retweets and retweets and retweets. And you can't get that organized very easily. And LJ took it upon himself, one of our guys, and decided to start a room, start some, information about how to do regular tweets. He reached out to Richard Hart. Richard Hart responded and said he liked the idea, that kind of stuff. So we got the encouragement, to kind of keep doing so. Not that we needed his permission, but it's nice to have his support, right? And he really took off with it, and it was a little slow at first. We would do a tweet, here, and it would get shared. We had a decent little turnout, and then another one here, and we did that like 30 times, and they were okay, as far as engagements and stuff. And then we did that whole save the date for like a week and a half, and I think we got like, I don't know, 500 more visitors or subscribers to the Twitter Storm Telegram channel, which started, showing us that there was some engagement out there with, setting a date like that. And God, I got a lot of numbers I store in my head. I want to say there was 300,000 engagements, and we popped out 33 tweets in like an hour and a half. And there was like 300,000 engagements and a bunch of retweets and likes and shares and all that kind of stuff.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so that one took off pretty good. And then we did one last Friday. Wasn't quite as successful, but I don't think we hyped it up like we did the first one. Richard's retweeted, these guys need your help. And the day he did that, I think we had about 1,000 people in the Twitter Storm Telegram. And Richard retweeted, "Hey, these guys need your help. Go join this room." And I'd say within a few hours, we got like 800 people came in there. Yeah. I believe there's over 4,000 in there now.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
That's a great resource.
Yeah.
I want to give props to Wales and Kinetics and the rest of the team for all the work that they've done for all these months, like in and out of talks with lawyers and the SEC folks and getting information and wondering how to do this and figuring out how to do it and writing all the PPM and all that stuff that they had to do for this stuff. I mean, it was just a lot of work, and it was constant over the last, we've been working on this for about a year now, right? I mean, it's been a long deal. So they've done excellent work, and trust me when I say this, once again, Discourse Syndicate and the guys here and the entities that we've formed behind it are here to help Hexkins build products that are going to support the Hex price, support Hex, and always be above board and within regulation and doing the right thing. Always doing the right thing. No garbage. That's for sure. I think that could say all that.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
So anyway, all right. Well, now that we've said
guys, I just want to say thank you, Richard Hart. I want to thank you so much for making it clear to the community, because there were some community members that were worried that it was un-Richard Hart-like to offer actual products to people and be able to make a profit. And that has been very much cleared up by the man, Richard Hart himself. So thank you, Richard, for the endorsement with the Hex Investment Trust and MCA. By the way, guys, we never built any of this stuff without discussing it with him on the back end. So he may not come out and very often and promote the things that we're doing, but he has input on all these things, guys. So is the Hex Investment Trust available in the EU? If you are in a jurisdiction that you can invest in American securities, then yes, it is available in the EU for you. I'm pretty confident all of the EU is possible. I don't know if you have to do it as an entity or an individual, but yes, it is available. So hexinvestmenttrust.com. I guess I could probably put up a banner here, but if we put this up here, feel free to go fill out. We do need, it is a 506c registered private trust available to accredited investors only at this stage. So I need you to verify, or at least if you're not sure if you're an accredited investor or not, just err to the side of yes. So I have a form saying that you said you were, and then we can verify that after the fact, and then we get you a copy of the PPM.
And that's our infomercial. Thank you, guys.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, perfect timing. It's like I paid him to do that, but he paid me to advertise my own trust. Yeah, that's how it's done. Thanks.
Hey,
Mario.
so that's a good. See, that's a good thing about the internet. That's a good thing. There's a Financial Freedom Expo called. Wait a minute. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, Limitless Expo. And I am going to be speaking live on stage at the Limitless Expo, and we're going to be there. The whole MCA crew is going to be there. We're going to be out there in the booths, hanging out, talking crypto to people, helping onboard, doing all kinds of cool stuff. And we're going to be there with, the likes of, let's show you who we'll be there with. Of course, our good buddy, and now Ken's good buddy, Ken McElroy. If you don't know who Ken McElroy is, he is one of Robert Kiyosaki's business partners, and they are invested in like a bazillion properties around the country. And Ken McElroy's good, so you can check him out on YouTube. And then there's going to be, let's see, where are they at? There they are. So Robert Kiyosaki himself will be there. Ken McElroy, Kim Kiyosaki will be there. Mark Victor Hansen. So Mark Victor Hansen is the guy who writes the Chicken Soup for the Soul books. Lisa Song, she'll be there. She was Miss Nevada at one time. Seth Joyner, you know who he is, a Hall of Famer. And That's Nguyen is another real estate cat. And of course, George Gammon. So those people, that's the full list of speakers. There'll be some other stuff going on. And as soon as they get my little picture, I get to go in there, I guess. But we will be there on the...
Will Robert be at that one? I'm not certain he'll be there at that one. Okay.
Yeah, I was told he was going to be there. Yeah.
Okay.
So that'll be 9th through the 11th. Yep. In Scottsdale, Arizona.
If any of you guys think you can beat the king at being the Hex ambassador, good luck. That's all I got to say.
Wow.
But I can back them up. Boom. End of story.
Untouchable.
Don't get it twisted.
Never to be rematched.
Bang bang.
Look at that. Look at them kicks.
We're obliterating everybody.
Yeah, Crypto Koto, you can get those kicks from. Yeah, he made 10 versions of those, and I got the last pair, number 10. Okay. So he's working on some other releases that come out soon. But shout out to him. Shout out to Link's Art Collection. Shout out to Crypto Hut. You see his lamps and that painting back there. Yeah, man. Hex merch with the flags and the hats that I have from them, and Unwrecked Pirate for sending me the DS hats that I got from him. So shout out to those guys. Love it.
BMA, for you and everyone else out there curious, we do have a team that can verify your accredited investor level. So if you guys aren't quite sure, default on the side of yes, and then we'll verify it, and then we'll go forward from there so that we can proceed with at least the verification of it.
Is there a way to just say if you're a dolphin, you're fucking accredited? I mean,
pretty much, yes. I mean,
like let's give a lead.
Yes. So the one of the third-party organizations that will verify that will look at where you are in the staker rankings, in the way of what category, what league you fall into. Absolutely, yeah. So I think it is fair to say we'll have to verify you, of course. But it's fair to say if you're a high squid or a dolphin or greater, you are an accredited investor.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's just to keep it simple. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yep.
But of course, you still need to get confirmed. But yeah, if you're in that league, you can pretty much you're confirmed. Just get it done.
The SEC will come knocking eventually, so we're keeping impeccable records because the SEC will come knocking one of these days. Say, prove to us that in the private funding round, you guys had accredited investors only in your fund.